All right, let's talk about this Chud the Builder chap. If you don't know who Chud the Builder is, controversial. I mean, controversial streamer. I don't think that's is that uncharitable. He's a streamer, controversial streamer, because he's kind of like a, what would you call it? He's a First Amendment. First Amendment is free speech, isn't it? He's a First Amendment extremist, I guess. I don't know how you would phrase any of these things. I'm trying to do it in the most charitable way possible, or the most objective way possible. But basically, he genuinely walks around and he calls black people the N-word. And, well, he has interactions, or I don't know quite how he started, but basically clips of him go viral because he calls black people the N-word, and then they go mental, and he then will say, well, I've got a gun, so I will kill you, basically. That is his whole shtick, right? Now, you can agree or disagree with that. I personally don't think that word should hold that much power over people. I do also think if you have a constitution which explicitly states that you have free speech, it is within your duty to exercise that free speech however you deem appropriate. Now, some people will disagree with the way he exercises it, and that's completely fair enough. But I do think if you have that in your constitution, then I do think you should exercise it. And I don't think people should allude to how you should be speaking to people in that way anyway. I do think there's obviously consequences of actions and things like that. I accept that. I'm an Englishman. I do believe you should approach people with an air of decorum, manners, civility. I think if you don't, right, if you are rude to someone, if you are uncivilized to people, then you welcome in an element of barbarity. Some people disagree with that. That's fine. Sure, whatever. I think manners generally is what separates us from, in England anyway, the beast men that effectively wash up on our shores every day. So it's quite a complex and nuanced conversation about this, because on one hand, I agree that he should be flexing his right to freedom of speech. On the other, I think if you approach people in a uncivilized fashion, expect uncivilized behavior unto you, right? I mean, it's quite complex, I guess, overall. But anyway, that out the way, just as a quick, who is he? Basically, the inevitable happened. Okay, the inevitable happened in this scenario, which is sad, both sad, and it was kind of the foregone conclusion that it was taking this streamer to its logical conclusion, which was, you know, if you know what human behavior is that he was going to get attacked, basically. He did get attacked, he did shoot someone, and now he's been charged with attempted murder. Quite a few things, actually, so we'll get into it. I know that's a really roundabout way, but I'm trying to navigate this in as a nuance as possible whilst covering all the bases and getting my true thoughts out there. So forgive the unusual intro and the long rambliness, but it is what it is. So basically, the long and short of it is, Chud the Builder's bond has been set at $1.25 million after the controversial streamer was charged over a shooting outside a Tennessee courthouse. Now, there is actually a little bit more to this. The chap that attacked him, it looks like he is a violent criminal himself. He's proud of being a violent criminal. Some people saying he's got PTSD and he's a veteran. That might be the case, but he is also a violent criminal. And he's proud of it. In fact, there is a post circulating where he said, yeah, and I'd do it again. Violent criminal activity. So not the best champion that you could possibly find. And Chud the Builder, someone killed his dog. That's a bit of an escalation, really, isn't it? That's a bit not something I would say is appropriate. Again, manners, decorum, civility, civilized behavior. But it looks like this was kind of orchestrated to some degree. Again, there was something floating around online, whereas a guy was like, yeah, I did this. Yeah, I'm super happy, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, wow, mental. Like, why would you egg this on in a way which, you know, drives this to its logical conclusion, right? I don't see why you would do that. But it is what it is. So, this chap, Dalton Etherly, 28. Looks a lot older than 28. Known online as Chud the Builder. I actually didn't know his age, so that was a genuine reaction. But no. Chud the Builder was arrested after a May 13th shooting outside the Montgomery County Courthouse in Clarksville, Tennessee. The incident left Etherly and another man injured, with the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office saying both were transported to hospitals in stable condition. Etherly has built a local reputation for filming confrontational public videos in which he uses racial slurs against black people and attempts to provoke a response. Prosecutors said Etherly and another man were involved in a confrontation that resulted in gunfire. So, $1.25 million is the bond. He's been charged with attempted criminal homicide, aggravated assault, reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon, employing a firearm during a dangerous felony. And the thing is, look, I can't help but see a two-tier approach to how the criminal justice system in America treats black people and white people. I mean, we've all heard about the Zarina Zarutska. Can't remember her name fully. The unfortunate incident of that Ukrainian refugee in the States that had her throat slashed open by a mentalist who had been charged multiple times, and on this one time apparently can't be charged. Even though he's been charged like 18 times before, he can't be charged this one time because he's mental, apparently. And I mean, there's a whole host of situations that have occurred, you know, time after time after time. Now, obviously, I'm not saying it's all black people, obviously not. But there does seem to be an element of permissiveness within the African American community, which seems to glorify this level of violence and this sort of behaviour at certain words. And there does seem to be, genuinely, and again, it's not all, I've said this, so please don't get me misconstrued here, but there does seem to be a certain element of racial hatred against white people in America. And I think it's unfortunate. You know, you do certainly see it. I mean, BLM is one of them. I mean, that was a massive grift. I mean, there's so many instances. You could just rattle them off and it's just absurd. But I do think that there is an element of two-tierness when it comes to, you know, how the justice system approaches the races, the ethnicities in America. And I think that's sad. But anyway, so Chud the Builder's bond was set at $1.25 million. During his arraignment on May 15th, today at the time of recording this, to be released before trial, he would need to post the full amount in cash or property or pay a non-refundable 10% fee of around $125,000 through a bondsman. I do think he will be able to. There is actually a give, send, go set up for his legal fees. Which, when you think about it, you know, there was that chap who, that black kiddie that just went and straight up murdered a schoolboy. And instantly they had like a GoFundMe set up and they had like over $1 million. I mean, it's insane, genuinely. Again, it's that permissiveness, you know. Like, you should be self-policing your own cultures, your own groups, your own in-groups to generate the behaviour that you wish to perpetuate moving forwards. I mean, if you want to act like barbaric beastmen, then you will get treated like barbaric beastmen. So it's really, the whole thing is very complicated, right? There's a lot of nuance to it. But anyway, so there is a give, send, go. You can find that. He's facing 4 charges, unless they've taken it down. He's facing 4 charges: attempted criminal homicide, employing a firearm during a dangerous felony, aggravated assault, and reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon. The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office previously stated that Etherly had been booked into the Montgomery County Jail. And this is it here. You can see this.
So bail's going to we're going to have a bail. I'm going to set up just a bond right now. Do we have our bail hearing? And I'll let you make all the arguments. We can go through all the factors in the statute and see if that gets amended up or down. Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to set initial bond at $1.25 million. $1.25 million.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, obviously he's not happy about that. You can see that there. And he is facing 15 to 25 years in prison, which is pretty mad, pretty damn mad. But you do get the kind of... I mean, if you've looked at anything, you do get the feeling that if roles were reversed, it probably wouldn't be anywhere near this kind of situation. I mean, that guy, again, the chap that I alluded to earlier, the guy who slit the throat of the Ukrainian refugee, I mean, he'd been in and out and just let off numerous times. I mean, it's just insane, right? Like, that level of permissive nature of the justice system is unfortunately just an element that it is there. It's difficult to argue, and although I'm happy to have some comments in the comment section to the alternative, and then also mandatory 6 to 10 years for the firearm count. So he could be facing a hell of a lot of time in prison. Yeah, Tennessee sentencing guidelines also list employing a firearm during the commission or attempted commission of a dangerous felony under mandatory 100% service rules. It's looking pretty bad for him. He's facing a potential maximum of 56 years in prison if a judge ordered every sentence to run consecutively at the top of the range. And you know what? I'm going to say this. I think that they will, just to make an example of him. I think. But every time this happens more and more, and it's a phrase online, so I'm quoting the phrase, but the black fatigue that people are feeling gets higher and higher, and what that generates is obviously anyway, is a pressure pot, right? You know, America is said to be a melting pot, for instance, but that it becomes a pressure cooker at that point. You know, when you see this permissive behavior going on more and more and more and more, and then people getting penalized more and more and more and more. Yeah, it's an issue, right? Like, I mean, it's an issue, and the pressure cooker will pop eventually. And this adds to that, and it's a really dangerous... I think it sets a really dangerous precedent, actually. Not that I personally think he did anything 100% wrong. It's difficult unless we get all the footage of it. You know, he was set upon, apparently. I mean, if you can't defend yourself in America, I mean, where can you defend yourself, right? So, that's kind of it. I don't have much else to say, really. Just thought I would cover it. I've covered a little bit of streamers here and there, and I've watched some of the Chud the Builder stuff, and it's been interesting to watch it play out. I mean, you do genuinely... That was one of the comments that was always there. This will get him done at one point, and it seemingly has.